Hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Sometimes, a person doesn't have to say anything to make the internet go wild. No long statement. No dramatic announcement. Sometimes, one tiny detail is enough. And this time, that tiny detail was a pair of earrings. Yes, earrings. Something that might seem ordinary, but when Zhang Linghe appeared wearing them, we both seemed to have one question on everyone's mind. Why does he look this cool? And that quickly became an even louder reaction. Zhang Linghe really looks like an idol. The hashtags ##and ## began attracting attention as fans started talking about his completely different aura. We're used to seeing Zhang Linghe as an actor with striking visuals, a calm gaze, and that cool, distant presence that makes people curious. But this time, something felt different. Those earrings may have been just one small styling choice, yet they completely changed the impression of his appearance. Fans noticed the details. His hairstyle. His expression. The way the earrings framed his face. And suddenly, the same conclusion appeared again and again. Zhang Linghe looked like an idol. Not just an actor. Like someone who could walk onto a huge stage, stand beneath thousands of lights, and make the entire crowd scream with one look. And this wasn't just a reaction from one or two fans. One post highlighted by Sina reportedly received around 1,685 reposts and 1,422 comments. That alone shows how much attention this small detail attracted. But then, the story took another turn. Because when fans saw Zhang Linghe looking this good, some began asking a very different question. If we're already losing our focus looking at him like this, what about Tian Xiwei? And that's where the fan experiment began. To be clear, this was not a statement from Tian Xiwei. There was no official confirmation that she had seen the appearance. There was no statement saying the earrings were chosen for anyone. And there is no evidence that the styling had a special connection to her. But perhaps because there was no answer, fans started imagining. We already know that Zhang Linghe and Tian Xiwei created strong chemistry through Pursuit of Jade. Their characters, Xia Zhang and Fan Chinyu, left a lasting impression on many viewers. So whenever one of them appears with something interesting, some fans naturally remember the other. And this time, Zhang Linghe's new look gave them another reason to do exactly that. Imagine the scene. Zhang Linghe appears. The camera turns toward him. The lights catch his face. And then, the earrings become visible. No romantic dialogue. No scene with Tian Xiwei. No confirmed secret message. Just Zhang Linghe and one small accessory. Yet the fandom asks, if Tian Xiwei saw this, what would her reaction be? It's a simple question. But questions like this are exactly what make fandom discussions explode. Some fans might imagine her laughing. Others might imagine her saying, "Why does he suddenly look like an idol?" And some might simply stare at the screen, just like everyone else. Of course, this is only a fan imagination experiment. It should never be treated as Tian Xiwei's actual reaction. But that's what makes fandom culture so fascinating. Sometimes, fans don't need an official answer to enjoy a moment. They only need one picture. One look. One small change. And a memory of two people who once made them smile on screen. That's why this moment became more than just an accessory. What truly caught attention wasn't only Zhang Linghe's earrings. It was the change in his aura. From actor to idol-like. From an ordinary appearance to something that made people stop scrolling. And perhaps that's the power of Zhang Linghe's visuals. He doesn't need to do too much. Sometimes, he only needs to stand in front of a camera, smile, and change one tiny detail. Suddenly, the fandom starts asking, why does he look this cool? But there's another reason this became interesting. When fans connected the appearance to Tian Xiwei, they were essentially testing how strongly the audience remembers their chemistry. They took a moment that existed completely on its own and placed it into memories of Zhang Linghe and Tian Xiwei in Pursuit of Jade. And suddenly, an earring was no longer just an earring. It became part of a story created by the audience. One person sees fashion. Another sees an idol aura. Someone else remembers the drama. And then someone says, I don't know why, but I immediately thought of Tian Xiwei. But this is where we need to separate what we know from what we imagine. What we know is that Zhang Linghe appeared wearing the earrings. What we know is that his appearance attracted significant attention on Weibo. What we know is that the related hashtags became a topic of discussion. And what we know is that Zhang Linghe and Tian Xiwei were the leading pair in Pursuit of Jade. But are the earrings connected to Tian Xiwei? There has been no confirmation. Did Zhang Linghe choose them to send her a message? There is no evidence confirming that. Did Tian Xiwei actually have a special reaction? We simply don't know. And perhaps that's exactly why fans remain curious. Because if everything were already explained, there would be no mystery, no what if. And fandom thrives on questions like that. What if Tian Xiwei saw him like this? What if they appeared in the same frame again? What if fans noticed another tiny detail? Those questions don't have to become facts to be entertaining. We can enjoy their chemistry. We can joke about it. We can create fan experiments. But we should never turn speculation into reality. Because in the end, what makes this moment interesting isn't a confirmed romantic story. It's the reaction to one tiny change. Zhang Linghe simply wore a pair of earrings. Yet thousands of people saw something different. They saw an idol aura. They saw another side of an actor they already knew. And some fans immediately thought of Tian Xiwei. Maybe that's why this simple moment feels so much bigger than it actually is. Sometimes, what makes a fandom go wild isn't something huge. It's something incredibly small. Something we might almost miss. Until someone points it out. And suddenly, everyone is looking at the same thing. Zhang Linghe wears earrings.